200 years, a water spirit called Ran has been seen along these waterways. According to the legend, she takes the souls of the sinners.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for The Haunting of Lady Jane. The film is directed and co-written by Kemal Yildirim, and it stars Natasha Linton, Sean Botha and Byron A. Harvey. Now, I've been sent an exclusive screener for this. This is a film that isn't likely to be released potentially until next year. It's doing its film festival run this year, and hopefully it will secure a release for next year. Now, the film focuses on Lily and Zara. Now, Lily is a writer, and she's kind of wants to write. She writes about people and people's lives, things like that. And she meets up with an influencer, as she wants to include her in her next book. So they decide to meet up, spend a lot of time together, and they decide to go on a free barge trip. I think it's to Birmingham. And the guy running this barge is a guy called Willard, who fairly recently lost his wife, so he's looking for a little bit of companionship, a little bit of friendship along the way. They head off on this barge trip, and this canals and stuff that they're on, these rivers and stuff that they're on, there are many a rumour that they are haunted, and as the trip continues, they start to experience supernatural events, strange events, and things that eventually put their lives in danger. Right, what are my thoughts on The Haunting of the Lady Jane? Right, now this is a UK-based film. I want to say that from the start. It's a low-budget independent film. It's one of those films where you almost have to check your expectations at the door. Because this is one of those films that, because of the low budget, you know, you're going to get some production quality here that's not up to the standard as maybe of what you're used to. For example, the sound occasionally when you're watching this is a little bit tinny, especially when they're on the barge sort of thing. It probably wasn't easy to get the sound right and in that space and environment. But it more than makes up for it, if you like, with some of the beautiful scenery that has been shot, because it does manage to capture the essence of the environment around them. You know, when they're on this barge, the beautiful scenery. I mean, some of the cinematography is really, really very nicely done indeed, and it does paint a very, very pretty picture of how beautiful our countryside and how our canals and things are. So it does manage to capture that, and there is a sense of, when you're watching this film, a sense of a building fear and dread going on in the film. And there's like a rustic and haunting feel to the movie while you're watching it. It's one of those films where you kind of feel like something's going to happen. So you kind of like, okay, well, I'll keep on, I'll keep watching, sort of thing. But unfortunately, if you like, it's also one of those films that never really fully delivers. I kind of become, it certainly for me, you kind of became a little bit kind of, I don't know if predictable is the right word, but what I kind of had going on in my head was, for the most part, how the film kind of turned out, sort of thing. I think a lot of people that would watch this, who would be interested in this, may be put off potentially by the slow pace of it. It is a little bit long for a film like this. It's about an hour and 45 minutes, something like that. And that through big chunks of this film, there's not a lot happens. There are some moments of tension. There are some moments of creepiness. You know, there's the moments where they have seances, and there's moments as where they seemingly are being, you know, stalked, sort of thing. And then the film, then the last 15 minutes or so of the film, you know, it's one of those films where the curtain finally lifts and everything is revealed as to the real threat of the film, and how the film is kind of, where the film is going to kind of end up going by the end of it. Some people may be kind of disappointed with that, with the reveal sort of thing. I'm not saying I necessarily was. I just because I was kind of expecting it to a large degree. But for the most part, I think what we get here is quite a thoughtful, layered, and complex film. But I think ultimately, for many people, and for me included, I think the pacing issues and the lack of genuine scares potentially harm it. It did manage to capture, the look and feel of the canals and the barge trip and things like that, and it's almost trying to present itself as like a ghost story in a lot of ways. It just fails to deliver on any real scares. I think if it had really delivered a few times on the scares, it could have worked, sort of thing. I didn't necessarily have a problem with any of the performances. Like I say, I think the sound let the film down occasionally. I thought the two female leads were fine. I didn't have a problem with them. I thought Sean Botha as Willard played an interesting character. But as beautiful as it is and looks at times, you could argue there's too many shots of them going down a canal sort of thing on the barge, with nice shots of the scenery and things like that. And sometimes when you're going into a film like this, you're going into it for the scares. You're going into it for, to go on that roller coaster ride, of ghosts and ghouls and spectres and all that kind of stuff. And this film doesn't kind of deliver that. It's not what you would call a traditional horror film. It's a little bit more thoughtful and a little bit more complex than that. Some will appreciate that, some won't appreciate that, which is why I've kind of gone right down the middle with my score. I don't necessarily think this is a bad film. I think it's a well-made, quite ambitious film that ultimately, I think for many audience members, probably doesn't deliver. But thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to check this film out when it is eventually released. Put it on your watch list if it sounds interesting to you. And I will, of course, be back with more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.